Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. I just read Wednesday in the chat. That's why I said that. Start of the week, last Monday. Well, the last week without real NBA basketball for a few years. And by a few years, I mean a few months. Well, off to a hot start this Monday. New lighting? No. Does it look different? It's the same exact lighting. Our last week without real NBA basketball. I think I'm just glowing today. I don't know what to tell you. Just glowing today. How are we doing? Interesting weekend of sports. My Cowboys are fucking dreadful. Not too much of a surprise there, I guess. Look more tan. Don't think I was outside really much, but or enough to get tan, but maybe. I'm trying to think, what did I do this weekend? Did a whole lot of sitting. I needed a calm weekend. Calm. What players will get extensions before Monday's deadline? Hadn't even really thought about that. NBA rookie extension candidates. Contract extension predictions for 25. Who are the who's on the table? Who's available? Who are the candidates? In my own humble and honest opinion, slightly is biased. Thank you for that, David. In my honest opinion, NBA is back, so the Cowboys blowing games doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, that's true. I am more in on the NFL though than I have been in some time. Fucking Starbucks. I don't want to drink Starbucks for a multitude of different reasons. Overpriced, not that good, the boycott. But my Nespresso pods got lost in transit. So have to make do until I get them. And it's the closest coffee shop to me by a lot. I guess that's not true. There's like a Armor Coffee. I don't like it. It's not good. Dunkin' would be my preferred option, but there's one. It's it's not too terribly far. It's not like I live in the middle of fucking nowhere. But it's how it goes, guys. It's how it goes. I don't know what to tell you. Let's see, my Cowboys shit themselves. No surprise there. No surprise there at all. Are any of us surprised by that? It's so sad to me. Like, I watched this all happen with Romo. Lame music. I can't even hear it. Folktronica. They're just making up shit, man. They're just combining anything with electronic music, and they're just like, yeah, that works. Folktronica. That's good. Ship that one out. Have you heard the NBC theme leak? Are they not doing the old one? Are they not just doing the hardball rock or whatever it's called? NBC theme. I hope this doesn't potentially copyright me. They're not doing this. That's so good. NBA, NBC. Well, when NBC Sports back in 2024 said that NBA was coming back in 2025, they used this song. I don't see anything on Twitter. No, they're advertising with this. It's definitely going to be this. I did see that it was a little bit different, but they might make it a little bit different. I will say the score bug that NBC has is good. I like the score bug. It's clean. It works fundamentally. You know what we haven't done in a while, and now that basketball's back, maybe we get back in our New York Times bag to start these streams off the right way with a dominant win in dominant fashion. Start the week off dominant and a dominant win in a dominant fashion. Let's do it. What was the word we always started with? Share was the one I saw. And that's a great start. My God, I'm good. Beard. Yeah. And that's the most dominant fucking victory you've ever seen in your life. And that's the most dominant victory anyone's ever had at anything. It's how we're starting our week. Here we go. Comic Con. All right, think stench. Think horrible stench. Comic Con, can of worms. All right, let's see. Pandora's box. Live music. Things you might see at a bar. Live music, trivia night, karaoke, happy hour. There you go. Live music, happy hour, karaoke, trivia night. Things at a local dive bar or something. Bar events, yeah. Okay. Sayonara. Good riddance. About time. Finally about time. Finally about time. American Hustle. There's movie connotations here with Pandora's Box, Hornet's Nest, Minefield. Hornet's Nest, Minefield, Pandora's Box, Can of Worms. These are all somewhat related. Okay, nice. Metaphors for potentially volatile situations. Yeah, okay. That one was easy. Good riddance, about time, sayonara, finally. Oh my God. Words after a welcome departure. About time, finally, good riddance, sayonara, American Hustle, Golden Fleece, Comic Con, and Lucky Stiff. Ending with synonyms for swindle. That was a dominant performance today, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Ending with synonyms for swindle. Oh, yeah. American Hustle, Comic Con, Golden Fleece, Lucky Stiff. Okay. Words after a welcome departure. About time. Oh, okay. I see what they're saying. I get it. Okay. I mean, dominant performance. Now I realize why we stopped doing these. They were too easy. We got Wordle in 2 tries, and we did this in a dominant, absolutely incredible fashion. Incredible. So the Cowboys fucking shit themselves. I mean, to be expected. Oh, I was thinking about maybe putting this one on Spotify today. Should I? Yay or nay? What do you guys think? Should I put this one on Spotify again? Should we go back to doing that? My only hang up there is the venture I have been talking about. I'm hoping is launching next week. Wait, why the fuck is there 2 Monday? Why are they doing this? Wait, why on earth is the NFL still doing 2 Monday night games? Why is this a thing they've been doing? This is horrible. What is the logic behind it? I somewhat understood when it was like, yeah, you got the East Coast game and a West Coast game, so like you're hoping, yeah, it's in flux, right? These things take a lot of time. And so I don't want to like be like, hey, this on Spotify this week, but it might not be next week. I don't know. You get what I'm saying? You see what I mean? No, this is not East and West games. These are both East Coast teams, Falcons and Commanders. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't. It makes no sense to me at all. I'm in not that anybody gives a shit. I'm in a very tightly contested fantasy game right now with major implications moving forward the rest of the year. I'm going to see one battle after another tomorrow. I need to see, I need the Bills defense to outscore Bill Krosky Moret, or whatever his name is, Bill Krosky, by 3 points. Not feeling overly confident. Not feeling overly confident about that one. I'm going to be busy tonight. My Falcons and Hawks preseason. The Mavericks play tonight. I forgot about that. Yay. Another great day for Mavs basketball, and very tame and level-headed and smart conclusions and reactions to preseason games. Can't wait. Yeah, I'll go live for it. I'll go live. I'm so fucking ready for the season, man. Oh, doing these predictions and stuff. Oh, God, man. I think it's going to be so incredible. I cannot wait, man. I'm excited for everything. I'm excited for every team. I'm excited to watch. Don't tell me. Okay. I'm excited to watch this rookie class. Like, last year's rookie class was so bad. It just was. Like, and there will obviously be good players that come from it. Don't get me wrong. Good players that come from it. Yeah, SJ was wilding out on Twitter. Oh, she was. It's funny because, someone tweeted like I hate when people make fun of people's appearances or anything like that based off of fucking basketball shit. So, someone tweeted something and I went to her defense and someone was like, dude, she talks shit about you in a fucking group chat, right? And I'm like, oh my God. Am I in 5th grade? Dude, she talks shit about you in a group chat. Oh. I'm trying to add something to my predictions real quick. Man, the graphic design on today's predictions, top notch. Some of the best we've ever had. I get want to play AD at the 5, but you really can't do that when you have Lively and Gaff. You know what? Let's just see how it fucking plays out in the regular season. Like I get it. Like there's gonna be some problems, 100%. I do think some of it's just too nasty. Like here's my stance on a lot of this shit. It's like, dude, AD didn't ask to get traded here, and like he's already gotten so much shit that, you know, I'm not gonna be super nasty to the dude. Sadly pretending to not care about others' negative opinions on him. I mean, why would I don't know. I don't know any of these people. So I don't really care. No. He has to play the 4 though, which is annoying. I'm more interested, and I've said this, and we haven't gotten a chance to see it in the preseason. It's something I've said before, I think on Lockdown, maybe here too. But it's like, I'm interested to see what it looks like in closing lineups. That's where I will draw my main conclusions. And that's stuff you see when the season starts. Like, you're not going to see that in a preseason game. You know, they're not going to play the full 4 quarters and they're going to have their closing group. I'm interested to watch to see how it plays out during the season, especially with Gaff. If Gafford does like miss the first couple weeks or something like that. Yeah, there is ample opportunity then to be like, hey, we're closing games with AD at the 5. That will change my entire stance on all of this shit. But yeah, I mean, until then, I will reserve judgment a little bit. Until then, I will reserve judgment. And it was. I mean, he looked bad. Like he looked bad. If this is how AD is gonna look, I said this on Locked On too. Okay, if AD looks as bad as he looked a couple of nights ago, yeah, the season's fucking over. Right? It will be far and away the worst year of his career by a million miles, and the season is cooked. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and say preseason game 2 maybe is not what you're gonna see for the whole season. That's just the truth. Also think Gafford's a better fit next to AD than Live. I don't agree with that. It is gonna be interesting though if like I was gonna say like it's gonna be interesting though if it does end up actually working out quite well, what they end up doing, because you're just gonna be so redundant. You're gonna have such an excess at the center spot. Assuming there will be times where AD is the only center on the floor, which I think will happen. I need to overreact to a preseason game against the Hornets. Obviously, AD don't give a fuck about that. I'm just like, you know, the whole thing about preseason, to be fair, is like, hey, this is what I thought going into the preseason. I thought X, Y, and Z. I thought this player will have a breakout this year. I think this team's going to suck. So when those things look like they're going to happen in preseason games, then I will latch on to that. If those things don't look like they will happen, I will not say a word, and I'll say it's just preseason. Who gives a shit? That's what preseason always is. So that's what you see so far. So anyways. Also, I will say, like, the majority of negativity I've seen are from people who are always negative for years, even when the team's good. So it's just like, at what point am I supposed to take the negativity seriously or not seriously? Would you do 80 and Lively for Giannis? Yeah, probably. Dwight is actually playable with other shot blockers on the floor. No, Dwight looks good. Honestly, Dwight does look good. No bullshit. Dwight, if you want to count, Dwight is the best 4th center in the league. I actually would be interested in knowing if Dwight Powell on the Celtics, how many minutes does he get this year? Does Dwight Powell like get legit rotation minutes on the Boston Celtics? They're going to want to shoot a ton of threes. And Luka Garza will get those things up there. I heard they were firing Nico Chance at FamJam. Is that true? I didn't hear any. Maybe. I didn't hear any, though. Not where I was. Pacers, yeah. He definitely would probably play on the Pacers. Dwight develops his 3. We play with the 4. Hey, he did hit a 3. In FanJam. Like it was one of those like it was a tough shot. Brooke Lopez, yeah, you're 20 for Dwight Powell. I look at preseason, like if a player team looks good, it's too early to say, but if they look bad, that's concerning. Like the training prep itself is not going well. Maybe I was just pessimistic. I'm telling you guys, this is the least locked in I've ever been in the preseason. And don't mistake that for me not being interested. I am. It's just I am not responsible in my preseason takes. I'm not measured. I will overreact in a positive way. I'm always positive when it comes to preseason usually. Because I feel like there's always you can always explain away negative stuff. You know, like, hey, you guys know how I feel about the Lakers potentially this year not being very good and DeAndre Ayton being a fucking loser. But hey, he looked good. He looked good last night, and he had a tough first couple games offensively. But I was like, dude, what am I like? He's not playing with Luka or LeBron or even Reeves. I don't even know if Reeves is out there. It's like, what? Of course, he's not going to look good. You know, he's a center. He needs those guys. He's got Bronny James throwing him passes. Like, of course. Cade, yeah. Oof. Oof. We'll talk about some of these guys here in a bit. Dwight actually has like good shot mechanics. Bro, Dwight used to shoot threes. Not a ton, but I want to say he used to get up at least one a game, right? Am I misremembering that? Yeah, in 2018, 2019, he averaged 1.5 3-point attempts per game. 30%. So, I mean, not horrible. Not terrible. Yeah, 130 people in here, only 20 likes. Guys, what the fuck are we doing? Is that really how we're going to start? Yeah, Finn can't believe it. Finn couldn't believe it. Did I see the NBC top players list in 2030? No, but I love those. I love those. Thank you for your service, King. Fantasy Basketball 2030. Projecting the top 25 players of the future. Is this it? All right, we can look at this. This is always fun. I should do this. I should do this year. Yeah, Finn can levitate. I mean, haven't you seen the lore? Cats used to be gods and kings. So, yes. All right, let's fuck it. Let's put this on Spotify today. You know, it's preseason. We're testing some shit out. Whatever. Let's do it. Hopefully I still even have my Spotify thing. I don't even know. More like float side by doesn't feed him properly to fly. He has lost a lot of weight recently. Like kind of a concerning amount when we went to the vet. Not too concerning. They weren't concerned about it, but part of it was when we took him in, he had the cone on, so I don't think he was eating that much because of the fucking cone thing. He's an older guy. He's 16 years old. So, you know, all of this stuff is... And we accidentally had him on weight loss kibble without even knowing it. But it's good food. It's like good, healthy food, right? For cats. But it was weight loss stuff. It was just what we knew. Well, it's just what we've been feeding him for so long. But now we have him on senior citizen food. He doesn't eat his wet food anymore. He used to love it. Now he doesn't. I don't think he likes the flavor. But he fucking loves this new kibble. So he's eating like a madman. And shitting like a madman. If I'm being frank. Good morning, Spotify. It's Monday, October 13th, 2025. We are 8 days away from NBA season tipping off. We are going to predict the Eastern Conference today. If you're listening to this on Spotify, leave a 5-star review. If you're over on YouTube, like the stream, so on and so forth. We were just discussing the possibility of a slightly biased supporter, a slightly early supporter that only listens through Spotify. If that's you, welcome back. We haven't posted on here in a long time. But I decided, let's just do it today and see how it goes. You know, as the season starts, we're going to be doing daily live streams once the season starts. Still trying to figure out where exactly that's going to be. I have a new venture that is hopefully launching very, very soon. And by very soon, I mean within the fucking week. And, you know, I'll just keep you guys updated on that. What's up, everybody in the chat? We're going to do Eastern Conference predictions today. There's an NBC Sports article I kind of want to read that somebody mentioned about the projecting the top 25 players of the future. And you know what? I think I want to do that. So I think on Wednesday we're doing our Western Conference predictions. Maybe on Friday we'll do awards, and I kind of want to do predicting the best players in the next 5 years. I actually really like that. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll just do that on. That's a great Slightly Clips thing. Let's start by discussing some of the sports happenings over the weekend. Just real quick before we get into NBA stuff. How about my Red Raiders, huh? How about my Red Raiders? Texas Tech is now 7th in the country, which I believe is the highest they've been since 2008. Of course, when that crazy Michael Crabtree game against Texas, all they had to do is win their last 2 games, and they would have been in the BCS national championship game. But now they're in a prime pulse. But I don't even give a fuck. I don't even feel like I'm jinxing them, because honestly, I thought Kansas would have been a tough game for them. Kansas might have one of the better quarterbacks that Tech will play for the remainder of the season. And Tech got out to a 21-0 lead. They immediately gave up 17 straight points, and then they scored 21 straight points to close out the game in the second half and win by a huge margin, 42-17. Yeah, Will Hammond's a dog. Our guy Dickey, 263 yards for Cameron Dickey. What a fucking dog, man. Tech's they got a swarming defense. I can't believe how good Texas Tech's defense is. I thought I would never see the day in a million years. But anyways, that's Texas Tech corner. Wreck 'em, baby. Wreck 'em. Feeling good. Arizona State's a pretty tough one. That's a tough match in Arizona, at Arizona State. It's going to be a little bit crazy there, but the remainder of the way, man, you know, BYU in Lubbock, if things hold and Tech still has a loss to game by then, oh my God, Lubbock's going to be an absolute fucking madhouse for that game. And if things hold and Texas Tech hosts a college football playoff game, do not be within a 100-mile radius of Lubbock, Texas. I'm telling you this right now as somebody who went to school there. Do not be within a 100-mile radius of Lubbock, Texas. It's going to be an absolute fiasco. All right? It's going to be insane. So anyways, pumped there. And then we get to the NFL, the Cowboys. I'm so saddened by all of this, man. The Cowboys are so pathetic. They lose 30-27 to the Carolina Panthers. By the way, Panthers aren't half bad. They're probably better. I mean, they just beat the Cowboys. I'd say they're actually probably a better team than Dallas. But it's just so sad to me to watch Dak Prescott go out there and ball out, which he did again. And, it's so reminiscent of Tony Romo, man. So reminiscent of the days when Romo had, you know, and Romo's problem, especially before like 2014 or so, Romo's problem was offensive lines were terrible. Then they made a concerted effort to beef up that offensive line, and they made one of the best ones in the league. And defenses were always awful. And Romo was just literally having to break his back. His back was always fucking hurt. Having to break his back to carry this sad, pathetic joke franchise to 8 wins. And everyone used to shit on Romo for it. But then you watch him play, you're like, dude, he's like the only good player on the team. Right? And then 2014 was the year. 2014 was the year. Their defense was good enough. It wasn't fantastic, but it was good enough. Romo should have been the MVP that year. They had the best offensive line in the league. DeMarco Murray was running crazy. Dez was at the peak of his powers. And they got robbed. We witnessed it happen. They got robbed. They got absolutely robbed by the refs, and that was it. And that was, I think, the closest they've been. You can argue 2016, Dak's rookie year. I really think that 2014 team could have won. Absolutely could have won the Super Bowl that year. And they would have had to go play Seattle in the conference championship game in Seattle, and they already beat Seattle in Seattle that season. And that was like peak Seattle Seahawks. So did they win the Super Bowl that year? Or was that the 1 yard line year where they threw the interception? Anyways, Rico Dowdle, 183 yards. We had fat fuck Ezekiel Elliott getting carries over him last year. Unbelievable. Actually unbelievable. Steelers fans here, Pickens wish he was still on the Steelers with DK. Yeah, I mean, Pickens was incredible yesterday. You know, it's just awful. It's just, their offense is really good. It's Super Bowl good. Their defense is the worst one. It's actually, I saw a couple more weeks like this and maybe sprinkle in 1 or 2 disaster weeks. So they're all disaster weeks. But you get what I'm saying? They could be the worst defense in the history of the NFL. Like, that's on the table. That is 100% on the table. And I want to be clear about this. Micah Parsons wasn't saving this shit. This shit's a joke. Micah Parsons wasn't saving this shit, man. Trevon Diggs looks like the worst player I've ever laid eyes on. He sucks. They're paying these cornerbacks $90 million. They can't fucking guard anybody. They can't cover anybody. It's horrible. Anyways, yikes. Just terrible. Just absolutely horrible. All right. Anyways, let's survive and advance, if you will. The Cowboys won't be doing any advancing. It's over. Preach slightly, Romo got robbed and the entire franchise got robbed from playing the Seahawks in the NFC Championship game. Yeah, it was the most heartbreaking loss I think I've ever experienced. Because, you know, around this time, my Cowboys fandom was on par with every other fandom. Actually, I was probably a bigger Cowboys fan than anything else. Like, this was a huge Mavs fan still, but, you know, the Mavs are kind of reaching this point where you knew they weren't going to win. And you knew it was just like the end of Dirk's career. We're in the twilight years. And I think this was 2014. I think this was right before the Rondo trade, right? Well, no, I was still pretty high on the Mavs. I thought they could win. They really had no chance, but at the time, I thought they could win. Because I was, you know, that's like where I was in my sports fandom. Just like I thought all my teams would win blindly. Great times. Those are the best times to be a sports fan. When you just, yeah, whatever, I don't give a fuck. They're going to win. And somebody explains to you, like, well, how can they win? Monte Ellis, like, they can't guard. Like, the Monte Ellis is not a guard that will lead you to anything. You're like, I don't give a shit. They're going to do it. They'll be the first ones. Oh, that's 2011 Game 6 of the World Series is by far the most painful sports experience I've ever had. Then I think this was the Cowboys-Packers 2014 was second. Nothing comes close to 2011 Game 6. Nothing. From a single game loss perspective. Nothing comes remotely close. That was devastating. So anyways, let's get into the NBA, some preseason stuff. I'm going to be real. I mentioned this. I haven't really been paying that close of attention to NBA preseason stuff. I guess, you know, kind of been monitoring it from afar. What I like seeing from preseason, what I like knowing from preseason is, okay, this team's playing like this. This team's playing like this. Hey, this team is making a concerted effort to shoot more threes. This team's making a concerted effort to play fast. And everybody says that, but then you watch it and it's like, okay, cool. But in terms of like, oh, a player is doing this, I try not to take too much away from that. Because again, it's preseason, right? And the reason why I haven't watched as much is because I'm not responsible with my preseason takes. I see one guy hit a, pull up mid-range jumper. And I'm like, yep, that guy's probably going to average 26 points this year. Probably 26 points. Yeah, 2006 Mavs is up there too. I mean, it's hard because there's like single game experiences. And 2011 Game 6 World Series, being one strike away from winning the World Series twice and then blowing it. Nothing comes close to that. I don't think that's the worst one I can remember. And then 2014 Cowboys is just, oof. 2006 was just kind of like oh, here we go. They're going to fucking, it was more of like a slow, steady, like, oh shit. It's happening, isn't it? Cray, 33 months in the Slightly Delusional Club. 33 months, damn. Time flies when you're having fun, huh? Well, I kind of want to get into it. Just kind of want to get right into it. My Eastern Conference predictions. This year, my predictions are a little bit different than usual. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, usually in years past, I've sat down, I've had huge notes and so many different things and stats and all of this different shit for these teams. I'm not doing that this year, only because, well, you'll see. My predictions are usually garbage and horrible. So we're going to switch it up, and I'm just going kind of vibe-based this year, as well as I'm just trying to close my eyes and envision what do I think is a realistic floor for this team and a realistic ceiling, and just try to see if I can find something in the middle. Right? So Eastern Conference predictions by the fantastic graphic design by yours truly on this PowerPoint. Fantastic stuff. It looks great. You see how I squeezed the Eastern Conference predictions in there? You see it? It looks fantastic. Not at all a Barstool guy, but the Hallie Sunday conversation interview is solid. No, those are usually kind of funny. All right, so let's look at my last year's predictions. You know, this is always the fun part. How did we do? So last year I had the Wizards finishing last, and they did. And I had the Nets finishing 14th in the conference. They finished 12th. And I remember last year in the lead up to the season thinking and saying, I thought the Brooklyn Nets could have been historically bad. That's what I kind of thought was going to happen for a while. But as the season got closer, I was like, they got some vets. They'll probably win more games than they should. Paul, 22 months in the Slightly Delusional Club. If you squint, there's a hidden message on that. Let's go back. I see it. It's code. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Now, I didn't expect the Nets to be as competent as they were, at least at the start of the season, where, how they were around 500 for a while. Up until they traded Schroeder, really, weren't they? I had the Bulls finishing 13th. They did make the playing game. I had the Pistons 12th. So that's one that kind of sucks. Obviously, the Pistons had a breakout year last year. So missed the mark there. Would have loved to have predicted a Pistons breakout. And I want to say, I'd have to go back and watch. I want to say I was pretty high on the Pistons, especially coming off the year they had where they were last in the conference and they were had that obviously historic losing streak. I thought they were better than that. But yeah, I mean, it would have been sick to pick it. I had the Hornets finishing 11th. They were 14th. Just can't quit them, huh? Raptors 10th. They finished 11th. Hawks 9th. They finished 9th. Heat 8th. They finished 8th. I had the Sixers at 7th. They obviously finished 13th, had the season from hell. But I'm going to pat myself on the back with this one because I did kind of sense a season from hell for them. Now, I did not think last year was like really a possibility. I thought a season from hell for a team like the Sixers would be like a playing team, 7th, 8th seed. 13th was just kind of a little bit crazy, but it kind of makes sense to me where if you think it's going to go bad for the Sixers, it's going to go fucking bad. Embiid's going to miss almost every game. Paul George will miss time, and they're just not going to be good enough to compete, really. So that's what happened last year. But I'll give myself a little pat on the back. I had the Magic finishing 6th. They finished 7th. I'll give myself a bit of a pat on the back there as well, because I think a lot of people had the Magic as winning a lot more games. Now, of course, they were super injured last year. But I didn't see the pathway for them, and they're completely different this year, and we'll talk about them here in a second. But last year, I remember I couldn't see the pathway for them to really improve offensively. Like, they didn't really do much to improve offensively, and I just thought they'd be a bad offensive team again, and they were. Now, it is crazy to me that the Magic, that's how fucking shit this conference is. The Magic were without Paolo and Franz for ginormous chunks of the season, and Suggs, and still finished 7th. And it felt like they were terrible in the regular season, at least. I had the Cavs 5th. That's a miss. They were 1st. They won 60-plus games. I'd have to go back and listen to why I thought they would be 5th. I don't know. I had the Pacers 4th. They finished 4th. Good on me. Bucks 3rd. They finished 5th. Knicks 2nd. They finished 3rd. And I had the Celtics 1st, and they finished 2nd. So really, honestly, not that bad. The Pistons one's a miss, obviously. Would have been sick to pick that breakout, but we do have some breakouts here. We do have some breakouts. So let's get into it. Let's start with my predictions. Finishing dead last, it has to be the Brooklyn Nets. I don't know how it could be any team other than the Brooklyn Nets. They are the only team. Now, I listed all the teams' Vegas lines, what their over-under win totals are, and what I think my predictions would be. They're at 19.5 right now, and I would pick them to go over only because that's so low, right? But I do think they'll finish last. They're the only team in NBA history to enter a season with 5 first-round rookies on their team. So they're going incredibly young. They traded Cam Johnson in the offseason. He's somebody who just quietly hasn't played that much. And they're vets now. You're looking at Michael Porter Jr., who might have CTE. We'll have to really dive in on that in the years to come. They brought back Cam Thomas on a qualifying offer. We'll see what that ends up looking like. Right? Didn't Cam Thomas sign the qualifying offer? Am I misremembering that? All of the restricted free agents all kind of meshed together in my head. And their other vets right now are Terrence Mann, Haywood Highsmith. Like, what vets are they? What vets do they have? Claxton, obviously. We made fun of this graphic that was going around a few weeks ago where it was like NBA season's right around the corner, and it was a player from each team on it. It was, I think it was ESPN posted it, and Nick Claxton was the Nets guy. Yeah, that's all I need to see. You're finishing last. That's all I needed to see. You are finishing last. Now it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, like, they're not going to try to win games. You might as well see what you got with all of these rookies that you have. Igor Dimin, and I saw a Russian guy on Twitter say you pronounce it Igor Diomin. Any Russian speakers in the chat? Is that correct? Igor Diomin is closer to the actual pronunciation. No, that guy could have been trolling. I don't know. But that's what I saw. We'll see if he's ready to start the season. Ben Seraph has been pretty solid in preseason so far. Drake Powell's been pretty interesting in preseason so far. Danny Wolf, to me, if I had to predict something about this team, it would be that Danny Wolf, if you watch Nets games, Danny Wolf will have plays where you're like, oh shit, like this guy might have something in the tank. His size and his skill, like this guy might have something for real, but he'll end up being one of the worst players by any advanced metric models in the entire NBA. We always see rookies like this. That would be my prediction. I think they're going to be awful. So, and they're going to try to be awful. Now, the only thing is I saw Twitter calling this team the Brooklyn Netanyahu's. The only thing is Jordi Fernandez is a good coach, and we saw this team really kind of greatly overachieve at the start of last season, at least. So I will say that's why I kind of had their over, because 19.5 is so low. It's so few games. But we've seen over years past, if you finish last in a conference, this is about what you're winning. I just don't think there's any way this team will be that competitive. And, if Michael Porter Jr. ends up having a great season and is like willing them to wins early on, does he even finish the season there? Like, I'd have to imagine with his contract, if he's good enough that teams by the deadline are like, oh, fuck, I kind of want Michael Porter Jr. I think he kind of unlocks stuff for our team. You have to trade him with that contract and injury history. So that's just kind of where I'm at with them. I do have the Wizards finishing 14th in the conference, 20.5 wins. I have their under. So a little inconsistent here with what I'm saying for the over-under lines. I just don't think Washington will be very good. They're not really trying to be. They do have an interesting mix of vets, though. And when you look at these bad teams, I always like looking at the vets. It'll typically tell you, okay, this team might end up winning a little bit more games than we originally anticipated. They got Chris Middleton. They got CJ McCollum. It's an interesting group of vets. It's interesting also in the sense of, like, I don't know how highly sought after some of those guys will be. Definite buyout candidates, I would say. But I'm also, if you watch my top 100 list, I had Sarr in there. I think he has a breakout. I don't know about a breakout, but I think he has a really strong second year. And sort of my reasoning behind that was I think he's going to be really disruptive defensively this year. I don't know if we get like a huge offensive leap or anything, but even a slight improvement offensively will be really nice for him. I think we have a really good defensive season from Alex Sarr. So that's kind of how I feel about him. I think he'll have an exciting year. I've seen a bunch of Wizards fans at the start of this preseason do not feel very good about Bub Carrington. He showed some flashes last year, but he is that type of player where it's like, what exactly are you bringing to the table for a team that's trying to win basketball games? From what I saw, Trey Johnson's early preseason returns haven't been fantastic. So we'll see. It just goes to show that it's going to be peaks and valleys. Maybe not a lot of peaks, but in a lot of valleys with this Washington Wizards team over the course of the season. But I'm interested, though. I'm interested to watch. I think Trey Johnson is going to be a fun player. So I am interested to watch how that sort of plays out. And I'm very interested in Sarr's season. And obviously, I think it's a pretty big year for Bilal. Year 3, the offense is just lagging behind big time. I think it's going to be a pretty big year for him to just show something. And they got Cam Whitmore, too. They got Cam Whitmore. That's actually something to watch. They made that trade for Cam Whitmore. I love that move for them. Very, very low risk, next to no risk, really high reward type of move for Washington. And he looked good in their pride. Did see their preseason, his preseason highlights from last night? Was it last night or 2 nights ago? And I mean, the athleticism, it pops, right? So we'll see. Also, yeah, AJ Johnson as well. All right, so now we get into these two teams. I think to me are clear cut the worst in the conference. Now we get into season from hell territory. Now we get into, does this team maybe blow it up halfway through the season and really bottom out? Which is what I think this next team should do. Will they do it? I'm not sure. There's a clear cut direction this team needs to heading into next season, especially around the trade deadline. Will they do it? History tells us no, because history tells us they love being the 10th seed no matter what. That is the Chicago Bulls. This is a weird prediction for me because I think the Bulls from a win-loss perspective will have a rough year, but I actually do think it'll end up, if I'm a Bulls fan, I think I'll end up leaving this season feeling pretty good. And the reason why I'm saying that is I think this is just, all right, Matas, you had a good rookie season, right? You did. You had a good rookie season. You're a little bit more polished than I think most people realized. And you've started to show some seriously really intriguing stuff over the last few months in preseason and whatnot. It's almost like, let's just fucking give the keys. Let's just see what, especially from January onwards, maybe we make some trades. Maybe we do a Vucevic. Maybe we do a Vucevic for Kuminga deal. If that's something that the Warriors want. If that's something that's been talked about ad nauseum, that exact trade. Maybe that's something that is available to us. All right. I think you have to give the keys to Montas. Now, I'm not entirely sure they'll do this. Yes, Patrick Williams is still on the team, one of the worst contracts in the entire NBA. But you've got a bunch of other younger dudes that I think, Noah Songe, somebody who is raw. I don't know really what you'll see from him as a rookie. Just hope to see interesting and fun flashes. I don't know how polished he is just yet. You got an interesting decision with Kobe White. Would we be surprised at all if Kobe White was traded by February? Absolutely not. Because you got to decide whether or not you want to pay that guy. He's someone teams would definitely be interested in. Vucevic, obviously, last year of his deal, would be pretty shocked if he's on the team post-trade deadline. You just paid Giddey. Ayo Dosunmu is obviously somebody who has the same contract stuff. Are you going to pay him? Probably not. So wouldn't be surprised at all. Actually, I will say I'd actually be pretty surprised if he was on their team after the trade deadline. So I just think this will be a year where the Bulls kind of bottom out, but I don't think it'll be like a full-fledged tank. I think it'll be more, all right, let's get some of these guys off the roster, and it'll be Matas Bazulis and really Josh Giddey. It'll be that show to close out the season. And we'll kind of see what else we got in some of these other young guys like Dalen Terry. That's right. I forgot they have Isaac Okoro now. So, yay. Anyone the Mavs should be interested in. I mean, Ayo Dosunmu is somebody that I think would kind of fit what this Mavs team needs, but also I feel like he's also someone a lot of teams would kind of be after, but he's also the type of player where you're not going to pay an arm and a leg for. So we'll see. I mean, Kobe White, obviously somebody too. And that one is interesting. But the Bulls could have a bad year win-loss record-wise, and I think could still leave it feeling good about themselves. And that's kind of where I'm hoping they end up going from an outsider, right? I'm on the outside, and I'm looking in. All right, I got the Hornets finishing 12th. I'm not doing this shit with them this year. Even then, I think 12 is probably high. Really kind of going in. I do have their over. Vegas has them at 26.5 wins. I have their over on that as a lock. Am I setting myself up for disaster? Quite possibly. But LaMelo and Brandon Miller, I mean, how many games did they play combined last year? 40? I know we got 20 games of Brandon Miller. How many games did we get of LaMelo last year? 47? I would not have guessed that. I would not have guessed LaMelo Ball played 47 games last year. But can we get a somewhat healthy season from those two guys? I'm a little bit more concerned about LaMelo's health because he's just never been healthy than Brandon Miller. But I'm excited to watch Brandon Miller this year. I'm kind of predicting a sizable breakout for him. I'm very intrigued by what we can see from him. And if Brandon Miller and LaMelo play 65 plus games each, I absolutely do think that there's a team that can win in the 30s, and they'll play fast. They have enough offensive firepower, I would say, to be a team where it's like, how the fuck did we lose to the Hornets? Like a random January Tuesday night, a team where you're like, how the fuck did we just lose to Charlotte? Like, that's embarrassing. They've kind of got that bad team upside. And I'm interested in Ryan Kalkbrenner. They love him. All reports are they love him. He's going to start at center for them. The Mavs just played them in the preseason, and he looks good. He does look good. So all indications are that they really like him. They think he's going to have a good year as a rookie. You know, he's one of those plotting older players, obviously, but one of these I think he's like 23 years old, so he's an older center. One of these plotting slower guys, good rim protector. You know, not uber skilled, not uber athletic. So these centers we see always fall in the draft, especially these older ones, and they always end up just being pretty solid. You know, especially right out the gates. So that's why some people say they have the worst center room in the league. I disagree. I think Kalkbrenner alone is like better than anything the Celtics have. Right? At least in my opinion. They've got Plum Dog Millionaire back. Spencer Dinwiddie, shout out to him. Kalkbrenner should be advertising for STD awareness. Well, I'm saying it wrong. It's like Kalkbrenner or something like that. It's not Kalkbrenner. My mouth can't say it. Kalkbrenner, yeah. They traded for Colin Sexton. I'll see what that looks like. I'm not like in love with that move. Somebody who also could be on a different team. Grant Williams coming off an ACL tear. He should be back at some point in the season. Josh Green coming off of a season ending. A lot of former Mavs on this team. A lot of former Mavs making up this roster, funny enough. But a few really interesting rookies, though, right? Obviously, they drafted Con Knippel 4th overall. I like the way that he played when I saw him play against the Mavs. Obviously, he's just, you know, he's this type of connective player. I don't know if there's star upside there, really, but just a really, really rock-solid connective player. We did see that in the preseason game that I watched. You know, he was making good passes, got a few good looks for three, missed them, but all in all, I think he played pretty well. Liam McNeely, wasn't really too in on him, but some people love him. Some draft nerds love Liam McNeely. He was very polarizing because just did not have a very good year his senior year of college. But there was a lot of like peripheral stuff and stuff from years prior where it was like, I don't know, this guy can be pretty fucking good if you just think that maybe he had a bad senior season, or not senior season, but last year in college. They also have Sion James, who's an interesting player. But the Hornets experience for me has been so up and down. I look at them and I think they have a decent amount of talent. They just got to stay healthy. And, I mean, it's a tall task with this team. That's just the reality. It's a tall task. And some people love Charles Lee. So do with that information what you will. All right, 11th. Feel pretty confident saying that the four teams we've discussed already are not going to be good. Now you really have to start. Now you're getting into teams that are hopeful. Now you're getting into teams that are hoping that they at least make the play-in tournament and whatnot. This next team I have, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. And because I don't see it, I think for them, and if I just put myself in the head of their front office, I think they'll probably do this and take advantage of a situation that's been presented to them. I think that this team will probably shut it down. What that looks like for them in the trade market, I don't know. That could be really interesting. But I just think, hey, you tweaked your ankle? Oh, man. I guess you're just going to have to sit out the last 2 months of the season. Your shoulder hurts a little bit? Yeah, we'll shut you down. You want to play? You're not coming back from that Achilles injury. I have the Celtics at 11. I can't. 42.5 seems crazy. I have their under as a lock. I just can't get on the Jaylen Brown as the number one guy for 82 games. I cannot get there. I don't see it. I just don't. I don't see it working out well. I think I'll have games where it looks good. But just over the course of an 82-game season, I don't know if I can get there. Now, the one thing that's making me think, maybe they're just fucking annoying enough to survive until Jason Tatum maybe comes back. And I think Tatum coming back would be a disaster. It's great that he's doing really well. It's great he got that Achilles surgery that could have him back sooner than later. But I do not see a purpose for it. I just don't. It seems so stupid. So stupid. Their center position is garbage. The league is big now. The league is big. We did the small ball shit. The league is pretty fucking massive. Dude, their center rotation is horrendous. Horrendous. Yeah, the Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Pritchard, Anthony Simons, it's not half bad. And the thing that's kind of making me hesitant here, because this is one where I can look like a ginormous dumbass. This is by far the biggest prediction here that can make me look like the biggest fucking idiot. But they do have the potential of just bombing a million threes a game, and they'll just beat teams that way. That absolutely is something that is possible. But I think they're going to turn the ball over a bunch, would be my prediction. I know they're going to play fast. Every team says they're going to play fast, but the Celtics will play quick. Dude, they're going to have to rebound basketballs, Part of the playing quick experience is getting stops and rebounding the basketball and then going. I mean, dude, is Luka Garza going to start at center? Really? Everything I've heard from Celtics people is JT's coming back. I know that's what it's lip service to me right now. If I'm in the front office, here's what I'm saying. There is no way in fuck Tatum's coming back. None. No chance. Fine. Yeah, Tatum, you want to come back? Yeah, well, no chance, dude. Are you out of your mind? Kata, Boucher, Tillman are all not bad. Dude, that's dreadful. Fine. If those are your second or third string centers, whatever. That is a horrific front court. Horrendous. That's the worst in the league. Kata, Boucher, and Tillman. Vegas has the Celtics at basically the same wins as the Mavs. That's wild. Well, the East is horrible. Boucher is perfectly fine off the bench. Remember when people told you it was a lib take to not want players to rush back? Yes. Aaron Gordon. When I was like, wait, Sham said he had a grade 2 hamstring, which is a hamstring thing, which is like a multi-month recovery, and he's playing next game. That feels irresponsible. People are like, you're a libtard. You are a libtard. I was like, all right, chill out. I don't like how you're talking down on the C's while they have finals MVP Jaylen Brown healthy. That's true. Look, I'm also looking at it from this perspective. If the Celtics come February are the 8th seed, 9th seed, and realistically you look at their situation and are like, dude, there's no way this team is going to compete this year. Why rush Tatum back? Which would be a rush job. Why even risk that? One, but also two, this front office is very proactive. This front office will take risks, will do unpopular things. Would that not be a situation for them to say, hey, look how expensive our team is, even with all of the cost-saving measures we just embarked on this past summer? Look how expensive our roster is. This is a great opportunity for us to try and look what happened to the Mavs last year. Like, you don't even have to be a bottom 5 team. Let's try and get some lottery luck, and let's try to a huge opportunity to extend our window by landing a guy in a draft class that's going to be fucking loaded. Absolutely loaded. That's part of what I'm looking at. That's part of what I'm factoring into the equation. Right? That's part of the equation for me. I just feel as though this team, out of any team in the league, will see an opportunity to be like, hey, we have all the excuses baked in for us. Tatum's not coming back. We've been injured, whatever. So this will be a reset year for us. And I think it'll be solid. It's not a rush job in terms of where the doctor thinks he should be, basically 8 to 9 months. So, okay, but we've seen this happen historically. Achilles injuries take a long time to recover from, and we've seen guys come back fast from it and it go horribly wrong. I get that medicine has advanced and stuff like that, but it's a huge risk. Why is it a huge risk? Because when you're recovering from an injury, and guys, I'm going through it right now. I've had these conversations with doctors. I understand what it is. When you come back from injuries, you have to take it as easy as possible because you run the risk of putting other parts of your leg in jeopardy. Right? You're putting parts of your other parts of your leg in jeopardy because you're overcompensating. There's parts of your leg that are weak that take months and months and months, even for professional athletes, of strength training and conditioning and all of this stuff to get to the point where it's like, okay, your body is like balanced now. You're not overcompensating in one way. You're not like, my calf still isn't strong enough because I haven't had enough time to strengthen it. So I'm like, I'm planting weird and it's affecting my knee or affecting other things. So, I don't, if the Celtics had the same exact team they had 2 years ago, right? Like, let's just say this happened 2 years ago and it was like, dude, if we get Tatum back in March, like we could, like we're the 4th seed. If we get Tatum back, we can be a finals team. We can win. That's different. That's different, I think. Tatum's dunking in September. It's a difference between just jumping from a standstill thing and playing in an NBA game and all the stuff that comes with that. The prep, the recovery, playing in the NBA game, scrimmaging, practicing, like all of this stuff is completely different. I just don't think it'll be smart. I do have the Pacers 10th. I don't know. I think, so if you're wondering why I think the Pacers will end up being better than the Celtics, good question. I think kind of similar, very similar situations, obviously. Your best player is out with an Achilles tear. Another similar situation where, hey, they made the trade and it saved their asses. They made the trade just days before. Wasn't it even a day before? One day before Tyrese Halliburton tore his Achilles to get their pick back in this upcoming year's draft, right? Insane that happened. Just horrible shit from the Pelicans. Got kind of feel bad for them. Center rotation's a little bit rough, and by rough I mean horrible. If I had to guess, okay, here's a question. Who ends up playing more minutes at center this year for Indiana? Any one of Jay Huff, Isaiah Jackson, or Obi Toppin and Pascal Siakam? I would say Obi Toppin will almost certainly lead their team in minutes played at the center position, which I don't love over the course of a season. I don't love. And I will say this, I had them a little bit higher than this, but the TJ McConnell early season injury, especially a hamstring, soft tissue thing, that's tough. That's a tough one to swallow. That's a difficult one to get over. Yeah, James Wiseman has been back, so that's good too. Wiseman, Jay Huff, Isaiah Jackson. And I don't hate Isaiah Jackson as a player. Johnny Furphy's going to yam on some dudes. I just... part of my logic with the Celtics is I think they'll be very aggressive. If they think tanking is what's in their best interest, I think they'll be uber aggressive on that front. I do. I'm not so sure Indiana would. Indiana will play with pace. I still think they have, they'll have Siakam, Nesmith, Nembhard. That's not horrible. But I am worried about, so Halliburton's out for the whole season. They've ruled him out the whole year. Now TJ McConnell's out for the first few weeks of the season, bare minimum, with this hamstring thing. So Cam Payne's going to be their backup center, our backup point guard. Oof. Rick Carlisle, Jarris Walker point guard minutes. We want to see it. Pacers, I have the Pacers one spot ahead of the Celtics. It's not that much of a difference. The Pacers have enough young talent that really does kind of intrigue me, where it's like, all right, give some of these young dudes like a bigger role, bigger opportunity, see what you have. And at least one of these guys is going to come out and have a rock solid season. I hope it's my boy Jarris Walker. You guys remember how fucking high we were on him. Nembhard, obviously, is the big-time candidate. Yeah, I wanted to go higher with the Pacers, but it's difficult when you look at them. It's difficult. Their front court's bad. I think like the front court's, we had that few year stretch where I was like, no, honestly, like center positions, they're like running backs in the NFL. That's what people used to say. Like running backs in the NFL, like whatever. You can just find them on the street. I remember somewhat subscribing to that, and then I remember thinking like, well, why have the Mavericks had dog shit centers forever? Like they can't just find one. Mavericks have had like 10 years of god awful center play. They can't just find one. Yeah, I mean you're without two. You basically have lost two of your best players from last year's team, Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner, and not gotten anything back from that. So, coming in ninth, I have the Heat. I have their over. That might have been a typo. 38.5 is tough to predict. I don't know. If I have a strong stance one way or the other. I go back and forth on this Miami team. So again, preseason, a big reason why I've kind of stopped following it is because I jumped to too many conclusions that are always positive. Khalil Ware is having a fantastic preseason. He's like 50% from three, and he looks great offensively. There had been rumblings, and I was reading up on this from Miami local people, that, I don't know how much Spo loves Khalil Ware. Everything that I've heard about Khalil Ware, his kind of low-key, his play style, it's giving, does anyone know what it's giving? It's right in front of our faces. It's giving a very certain player, very specific player. It is giving a little Christian Wood. It is giving some Christian Wood to me. Uber talented offensive player. You watch it, you're like, oh, fuck yeah. At that size, it's incredible. Defense is not where it needs to be. Now, he does have some defensive upside, I would say, than Wood. Vengeance Ware, yeah, maybe. But let's just say this offensive leap that we've seen in the preseason so far, and he was good to close out the year last year too. But let's just say that's real. And maybe the Spoelstra is just going hard on him because he sees it. Right, he sees it. And hey, you're going to be a big piece for us. You got to fucking lock in defensively. You have to. That's why he fell in the draft. The skill at his size was always apparent. He fell in the draft because the motor was god awful. Sometimes that just doesn't go away. Yeah, Ware's had these problems. Now, but if the offensive stuff is the offensive leap is real, and he's very skilled, so he is a good offensive player, and maybe he can just lock in defensively. That's somebody you could start alongside Bam Adebayo, and that would be fucking disgusting. Now, with that being said, even if you have Khalil Ware coming off the bench, I like Wiggins starting next to Bam. I think that's really solid. They paid Jovic. Jovic, you guys know how I feel about Jovic. I think I've had Jovic as the most improved guy for years. I think Jovic was my most improved player pick last year. Or he was somebody I mentioned. I like what he can do at his size. You can't teach that stuff, right? It's very inconsistent, and the defensive stuff makes you want to rip your hair out sometimes. Didn't mean to do that. Where will be a king by the trade deadline, and who will be a Heat? Yeah, Hero Pal, Wiggs, Bam Ware. That's not fucking bad. It's just not. I had them higher than this, but I had to tone it down a little bit. I had to tone down the rhetoric just a tiny bit. Kasparas, Yakichonis. I kind of like their team. I'm going to be real with you. I kind of like what they've got going on. Just a little bit. And there's no way Terry Rozier can be as bad as he was last year. No way, right? Surely not. Surely not. It's actually, I think, kind of impossible. I think it's actually somewhat impossible for him to be as bad as he was a year ago. Wait, this seems kind of nice. I don't love them being 9. I have the Raptors at 8. Ingram looks good. And it's been a while. It's been long enough since we've seen him play. Obviously, DVT brother. It's been a while since we've seen him play. Haven't seen him play a game with the Raptors, obviously. Right? He was out with the DVT, wasn't it? A year or two ago. I'm misremembering that. But I kind of like their squad. They're obviously they're super expensive. Their team's kind of hilarious. I'm a Heat fan. I think you're giving us way too much credit. All right. I mean, I have you as the 9 seed. I don't like. I feel like that feels pretty standard. The spacing could be a concern. There's been some. So again, I said, whatever, preseason individual stuff comes and goes, but it's interesting to see how teams play. There's some shot chart stuff with Scotty Barnes to start this preseason that's at least head scratching. Most of his shots have been like long jumpers, and it's like, are you just like fucking off in the preseason, or is this something that we can expect? I do worry about their depth quite a bit. They obviously dealt with a lot of injuries last year. I don't love their bench unit at all, really. Now, with that being said, though, pretty interested in Colin Murray-Boyle's rookie season. I liked him more than others coming out of the draft. Defensively, he looks incredible. Toronto's bench is terrible. Absolutely, I agree with that. But their starting 5 is pretty good. And there's like a bunch of stats that back up when that group plays or has played, Quickly, Scotty, RJ, and Pirtle. They're good. Like, it's a good team. And now you're adding Brandon Ingram into the mix, which is something they actually desperately needed, which was like an actual legitimate tough shot getter and tough shot maker. Yeah, I'm pretty interested. Now, obviously, their depth scares me tremendously, but can that starting group stay healthy enough, one, but also be good enough to propel them to a 500 record in the Eastern Conference? I think that's 100% possible. I'm not like super giddy about it. I'm not jumping up and down. Yeah, if Pirtle gets hurt, I don't know what the fuck they do. They're done, I think, immediately. So that's a big one. They do have some interesting bench guys. Yeah, they do. Some interesting young bench guys. But it's not a good bench. Would have the Heat over the Raptors, though. Yeah, I mean, these teams are all one team apart. That much money for a team that might not even win 50 games is so crazy. Yeah, well. Yeah, I know. I agree with you. Year 2 for Jacoby Walter, who had a good rookie season. Some people love him. Some people love him. Grady Dick, Colin Murray-Boyles, I am interested in. Yeah, and, Mogbo was really solid last year. They do have some pieces off the bench. But, if you're paying this much money, is the 8 seed great? No. But is the 8 seed cool if you make a playoff series? That is cool. I don't know if that's the bar, though. Finishing 7th, I have the Sixers. I do have their over as a lock. 42.5. So basically all they have to do is win 43 games. Can they go 43-39? I think so. And this isn't even me factoring. This is with me factoring in. And I fear I'm doing the same thing I did last year where I'm like, I think it's not going to go well for the Sixers again. And not going well for the Sixers is probably like way worse than this. But I do think they have, fleshed out their roster a little bit more with like hey, Embiid might play 40 games this year. Obviously, Paul George, we know, is hurt going into the season. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. Has there been anything about him? I think he's going to be another disaster for them. So, last year was horrible. What did they end up finishing last year? But, dude, their injuries went beyond Embiid and Paul George. But they won 24 games last year. They're already dealing with the Jared McCain injury again. Okay. Yeah, I mean, McCain's going to be hurt to start the season, though. So I don't really know what the takeaway for that is. Paul George will come back eventually, you'll think. Might not miss too much time. Embiid's playing in a scrimmage, so here's the thing. How many games did Embiid play last year? Wasn't it in the teens? If Embiid ends up playing 40 games, I think they'll pretty easily hit their over. He played 19 games last year. Oh my God, it's been 2 years since he's 39 games in 19. Hey, I say this. Can we get like 45 games, 50 games from Embiid? If yes, then they cruise past this over. However, maybe it's just over. Maybe it's just done. I feel like people don't know about Toronto bench. Toronto has a lot of interesting guys, right? I get what you're saying, and some of those dudes are young enough that it's like these guys will get better. And hey, I was at Mavericks last home game courtside when all of those guys were playing huge, ginormous minutes in that game because they were just shutting it down. But there's a difference between having like an interesting bench and having like a good bench. I am pretty interested in Jacoby Walter though. Very interested. I actually think he's one of the one of the players I'm one of the most interested in heading into the season. He was just quietly really fucking solid last year. And he's got a fun play style that I could see breaking out. It's over for Embiid, a player who will never make a Eastern Conference Finals. I like Tyrese Maxey. If he stayed, how many games did he play? I mean, last year was such a shit show for them. It's unbelievable. Let's look at the games played for them. Maxey played in 52. They had 3 guys playing over 60 games. That's it, 3. It was Ricky Council, Gershon Yabusele, who's gone, and Kelly Oubre. Holy fuck. Maxey played in 52 games. Paul George played in 41. Embiid played in 19. McCain played in 23. It was so bad. Was the Oubre getting hit by a car last year? Wasn't it like really early in the season? They're going to trade Embiid. It might not happen this year, but it will happen. Who the fuck's going to want that? Who's going to want that contract? But I cannot wait to see VJ Edgecombe play. I don't know what it will look like rookie year for him and his play style necessarily, but he's going to have, I don't know how many, 10, maybe a dozen insane fucking dunks over the course of the season. That'll go mega viral. I'm super excited to watch him. Hopefully McCain comes back somewhat soon. What was the update on him? Definitely missing at least the first month of the season, I would say, Jared McCain. And last year opened up some interesting stuff for them in terms of like the season from hell is always do this where it's like you get glimpses at certain guys that end up you're like, oh wow, that guy was actually pretty good for us. Like maybe that's somebody that will actually play minutes for us moving forward. Justin Edwards was a guy like that last year. It's going to be really interesting. Their power forward rotation is a nightmare. I do agree with you, although they're pretty high on some of the guys they've got. I've seen Sixers fans pretty locked in on like Trendon Watford. Nah, Broom's just not. I don't know if Broom's an NBA guy. He's older and not that athletic, really. Not like an NBA level athlete. Watford, Dominique Barlow, Jabari Walker. Can one of those guys end up being solid? Nurse said Bona and Embiid double big lineup is in the cards. That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. Bona's again one of those guys too, where it's like, yeah, last year he showed some interesting stuff. All right, here we go. Top 6. I got the Bucks finishing 6. So whenever I'm sitting down and I'm looking at all these teams, whenever I'm looking down and sitting at all these teams, my God, I look at the Bucks roster and I really examine it. The closer we get, the more I look at this, the more I think, oh, this is going to be a disaster, isn't it? This is going to be a disaster. right? Does Giannis get traded in January? Their backcourt is, you really got to squint. And I mean, Giannis is going to be the point guard. Like, Giannis will play point guard for them, right? But, I mean, Kevin Porter Jr., Cole Anthony, like, it leaves a lot to be desired. That's putting it lightly. It leaves a lot to be desired. I'm not saying it with Bucks. It's just Giannis. And that's literally it. That's literally it for me. Giannis is still bare minimum a top 3 player in the league. And if they don't trade him, obviously that goes without being said. But if he plays in 70 plus games or so, I think that'll be enough for them to win enough games to be a top 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. I mean, just last year, and it's different, but last year the Pistons won 44 games and were the 6th seed. It varies year to year. You know, a couple years ago, it was 47 games. The year before that, it was 45 games. Year before that, 46 games. You know, it's kind of where you're at. Thoughts on Taco Bell? Not bad. Pretty good. You know, like they went 40-27 in the 67 games that Giannis played a year ago. Now, if Giannis gets hurt or whatever and misses time, yeah, they're fucked. Like, I don't know what else to say besides that. They're fucked. They're done for. That goes without being said. The Bucks are going to look for unrealistic trade for him too. It's hard to say this because, like, all of the biggest trades we've had in recent years have all been at the deadline, really. But man, a Giannis trade, and I do think it's going to happen. I just think it's inevitable at this point in time. But a Giannis trade feels like an off-season thing. You know, it feels like maybe some calls happen at the trade deadline, and the calls in with like, hey, get your shit ready. It's going to happen. You know, prepare for the offseason. But we've seen, I think Miles Turner has, you know, after watching him in the playoffs last year and really just kind of deteriorate a little bit as a defender over the last couple of years, am I in love with the prospect of paying him the amount that they're paying him? No, not really. It's not that crazy of a contract. But then when you factor in they had to waive and stretch Dame to do it, and so you're basically paying him $50 million in a roundabout way. Yeah, that ain't great. But that we've seen it before with Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez had cement shoes on last year. He's so fucking slow and old, right? So at least you're upgrading there. Miles Turner's an upgrade over Brook Lopez, and we've seen it with next to Giannis. That type of player thrives. Like that's the type of player you need alongside Giannis. Is a floor stretching center who can block shots. Perfect, right? Kyle Kuzma. Need I even say another thing? It's literally just Giannis. This is the Giannis tax. This team's terrible. This team's fucking terrible. But this is the Giannis tax. Okay? If he's healthy and plays, he's good enough that I think he'll drag them to wins in the Eastern Conference. Enough to be a 6 seed. Assuming he's not traded. And I just don't... Next summer? Yeah, absolutely. I think it's 100%. Not 100%, but it's incredibly likely he gets traded. So much so that I'd be shocked if he was on the Bucks starting the 2026-27 season. I just don't know if it happens mid-season, personally. Oh, and they have Doc Rivers, too. That's right. At 5, I have Detroit basketball. So I talked about, I have some serious concerns with this Pistons team. Obviously, I had a breakout year last year. So much that went into that was Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. and their floor spacing and their shooting. Not just that, their volume shooting was obviously great for the team. It's why they won a lot of games. It's also why Cade had the breakout he had, because they finally were able to fucking space the floor. Something that it took them 4 years to figure out they need shooters, I guess. So I love that for them. Now, obviously, Malik Beasley, I don't know. He could end up back on this team. I don't really know what's going on there. They lose Tim Hardaway Jr., but they did bring in Duncan Robinson. Okay. You know, I don't know about that contract necessarily, but that's a shooter who's going to space the floor for you, obviously. And I'm really intrigued by Jaden Ivey. I think we were in the midst of him having a really strong breakout level second year. Obviously had that disgusting injury that sucked, but he's back. He's ready to go. And I'm thinking that, I'm thinking that we get some pretty good shit from Jaden Ivey. Do you think they trade Ivey? I mean, I'd have to imagine something like that will only be for a sizable upgrade. I think Ivy and Cade can play next to each other. Now I get that they have to pay him soon, so maybe maybe you consider trading him. But yeah, I would see how the season plays out though. I can see them trading away Ivy Dern for an upgrade. Yeah, they're a team that could absolutely upgrade their roster in a significant way. I'm super in on Asar, both the Thompson twins, but really Asar, was one of the best defensive players in the league last year. I have no reason to suspect he's going to stop growing as a player. Also, DVT brother, we love that. We don't love that, but I'm going to support my DVT brother. Second year, Ron Holland. Insane athlete, great defensive player. Don't know what we're getting offensively out of him, but I am interested to see it all play it out. They lose Schroeder, but I like the Karis LeVert. I think that's probably an upgrade right there. And if something does happen with Ivy or Ivy's not playing at the level you're wanting to, Karis LeVert's a rock solid second ball handler. Rock solid. The thing with them though, and Jalen Duren obviously will be interesting to watch. Back half of last few months, really, really playing well. Him and Cade are forming a really, really great connection. Defense is always the problem with Duren, but I think he has the motor, the size, the athleticism to be good defensively. It's just figuring out how to be a good NBA defender, where to be at the right times. When should I, chase a block versus guarding the rim? Those type of things young players have to learn over time. But this is the same way we had a tax for Giannis. This is a Cade tax. Cade took that superstar leap, and make no mistake about it. I'm not using that word lightly. Superstar. I think that's where Cade is. I think Cade is in the superstar stratosphere. I think that's where he's operating. I think he's going to continue to get better. He's looked phenomenal in the preseason. And when I say phenomenal, obviously his results have been good and stuff, but he just looks great. Physically, he looks fantastic. He looks like he's just in such control of the game. Such great size as well. It's funny, Dylan Harper plays exactly like him. It's insane. But yeah, I think Cade's an All-NBA guy, lock for me almost, moving forward. I think Cade's got some MVP upside. If the Pistons, I don't think will be good enough as a team, but Cade will always be one of these guys on the outside fringes. Like if you had to pick somebody outside of the Luka, Shea, Jokic, Giannis, those big four MVP candidates, Cade is very high on the list for me. Just think he's stupid stat lines. Stupid. Remember when people were saying Jalen Green was going to be a better player than Cade? Yeah, they had that rivalry for a bit. Number 4, I got Atlanta. I'm in. They've burned me a million times before. I don't care. I'm right back to it. Healthy Cade or healthy LaMelo? Healthy Cade. Easily. They have burned me a trillion times. Atlanta has. I am back in. I'm right back in it. I'm ready to get hurt again by this team. This is a Jalen Johnson bet. I tweeted about this yesterday. I think Jalen Johnson will have a breakout year, but not in the sense that like he goes from being like a good player to a great player. I think he's already done that. I think he's already gone. Like last year, he was a fantastic player, teetering on, like an all-star. Then got injured, obviously. It's kind of reminiscent to me of like the Shea breakout years, where it's like if you were paying attention or watching any Thunder game, you're like, oh, Shea's a star. Like, yeah, Shea's a star. He just was shut down, got injured, played half the season, and the team was terrible. I think that's kind of where we're at with Jalen Johnson. I think he's going to be fucking awesome this year. Wouldn't surprise me. We've talked about this. Wouldn't surprise me if Jalen Johnson, we end the season, it's like, yo, is Jalen Johnson the best player on Atlanta? No disrespect to Trey, but just in terms of impacting the game and offense and defense, is Jalen Johnson like the best player for the Atlanta Hawks? Wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw that. Love him. think Trey's going to have a great year. He's got that, little chip on the shoulder. I think Trey's a great chip on the shoulder guy. Chip on the shoulder, contract situation hasn't been resolved just yet. We've already seen in the preseason, again, I kind of like to monitor how teams are playing. They've gone off ball quite a bit with Trae Young. I think I saw in their last preseason game, Jalen Johnson was on ball, bringing the ball up more than Trae. So they're going to utilize Trae off ball a little bit more, which I find quite interesting. Obviously, he's got the shooting talent to be pretty useful there. Smart player too, good cutter. And obviously, I think they had pound for pound in terms of just like improving their roster without giving up much. Probably the best offseason. Got Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Love that. Got KP. And it's not the same as the Celtics. Because I don't want to say this Hawks team's like that 2023 Celtics team that just steamrolled everybody. Or 2024, I guess. Celtics team that steamrolled everybody. But similar, like, they don't necessarily need KP. Like, if KP gets hurt, they're not completely fucked. But if KP plays, it's a huge ceiling raiser for them. Pound for pound, I don't know. Well, they added Nickeil Alexander-Walker, KP, and they also got an unprotected lottery pick next year from the Pelicans for really moving down a few spots in the draft. They had a fantastic offseason. If no KP, who's the backup 5? Yeah, I mean, that's a problem for them, obviously. If KP were to go down, you've got Mo Gay. I couldn't remember if it was Guy or Gay. It's Guy. The one thing I'm actually quite concerned about for the Hawks, if I were to say a real concern, is they lost Karis LeVert. They traded away Kobe Buffkin. You guys know I love Kobe Buffkin, but he wasn't great. Their backup point guard situation, to me, is a little bit rocky. It seems like it'll be kind of a committee type thing or a mix between Luke Kennard and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Probably Dyson Daniels will get some opportunity too to be like the lead ball handler. I don't love that, really. I don't love that much. I am interested to see if they go stagger some minutes with Jalen Johnson and Trae, although you want those two on the floor, as much as possible. They're a great duo. And maybe have some minutes where it's like Jalen Johnson is our motor on offense, our engine on offense. But I'm just interested to see how much they're willing to stagger those minutes because Trae and Jalen Johnson are just fantastic together. I also don't know how much they'll end up staggering Dyson Daniels and Trae because you want Dyson Daniels out there. And I'm Reece Shea year 2. I had him in my top 100. Obviously he was a number 1 overall pick, kind of underwhelming. Had a good rookie year, but I'm saying underwhelming in the sense that, he's not your prototypical number 1 overall pick. Just a very weak top weak draft class. But he was pretty good last year. He looked really good to close out the season. Fantastic size, has shown those skill flashes. Bare minimum, just a really good connective player. I'm pretty intrigued by his second season. I think he's going to have a good enough year too where people are like, okay, did we maybe like shit on this draft a little too much? Don't know if he'll ever be a star or anything like that, but yeah, I like Reece Shea quite a bit. I love their wing. Their wings are fantastic. This team's good. This team could win playoff series for real. If they're healthy, this team could like make a legit run. At 3, I have the Knicks. Now let me kind of explain why. I think the Knicks are going to be fantastic this season. I think they're going to be fucking awesome. I'll talk about them more and how awesome I think they'll be here in a second. The reason I have the Knicks here, though, is I think they're just getting to the playoffs healthy. I feel like it's not a spicy take. I think they're going to be really fucking good. I just think getting to the playoffs healthy is priority number one for them, honestly. Like, that's preseason Hawks are top 5 teams ever. I know, they get me every year, pretty much. They get me every single year. Just think they'll prioritize health more than anything else, really. Yeah, I think they're going to cruise. This isn't like me saying they're going to disappoint or underwhelm. I have their under, but they won 51 games last year. Like, I think they could win 52 games, which would be perfectly fine. I just think get to the playoffs healthy. They did, they're much deeper this year, at least on paper, than they were a year ago. Yeah, for sure. So they're much better suited this year to be like, hey guys, we're gonna tone it back a little bit. We're gonna scale it down in the regular season. We're gonna tone it down. They went out. They have Yabusele. So if you have games where it's, hey, Mitchell Robinson's not gonna play, or maybe he's a guy who's just not healthy a lot. He's injured. Yabusele is a very good backup big to have, right? Jordan Clarkson, Malcolm Brogdon, like those are really good backup bigs to have in the events that like our backup guards to have in the event that, you want to rest Brunson or just take it easy with Brunson. And what I mean, like scaling it back, I also mean minute distribution, right? I'm not even talking like resting guys or guys not playing. I'm talking like maybe we tone down the minute distribution. You're much deeper this time around. So I have them finishing here, and it's only because I just think it'll be more of a focus on being healthy entering the playoffs than anything else. I do have the Magic second. I think they're going to be fantastic this year, and I think they're going to be a great regular season team, assuming they're healthy. I feel like they're young. They're going to defend like crazy. Their offense was bottom 3, I think, last year. I think they'll probably be closer to league average, again, assuming Paolo and Franz are healthy for the majority of the season. And you combine that with their defense, they're going to be a fucking nightmare to play. Going to be an absolute nightmare. And it's just going to be one of these regular season teams where it's like, fuck, we have Orlando, dude. Ugh. What a nightmare game tonight. Horrible. They were the worst 3-point shooting team last year in terms of frequency, in terms of accuracy. They add Desmond Bane, and that's so big for them. I mean, so big for them. That changes the entire dynamic. Jace Richardson's look incredible. I don't know. Preseason, Jace Richardson's looked phenomenal in the preseason so far. So something to monitor there. And this is, if you're in on Franz, you're in on Paolo, like I am, we're pretty much there. Like, this is the time. This is a time where they make the big leaps. We're still probably a couple years away from their primes, but this is the year. This is around the time for the sizable leaps. And I'm in on Paolo. I know the advanced metrics and stuff will tell you one thing. When I watch that guy play, I see a point forward, 6'10", massive fucking human being who has superstar written all over him. And I think Franz is a star as well. So I'm in on this team. I think they're fantastic. The Bane edition is just mad. It's just going to fundamentally change the game for them. It's going to shift the geometry of the floor so much so that I think there'll be times offensively where they will look unrecognizable. So I'm in on them. I love them. I think they're going to be fantastic. I think the Cavs will probably be the best regular season team. I mean, they're just a regular season wagon. Knock on wood, their health is typically pretty good. They just have a formula that wins games in the regular season. Could we pencil in a Mobley, another step for Mobley? Would you take any Magic player over Flag? What, like this year or moving forward? Probably not, but I'd have to sit down and think about Paolo. I can't trust the Cavs. Oh, playoffs is a different story. But they're just a regular season wagon. I mean, that's really it. I'd have to sit down and think about Paolo. I don't think I would do it, but DeAndre Hunter progression, he was good for them. I'm interested in what Lonzo looks like for their bench unit. The step forward for Mobley is to take over Allen's minutes at center. Well, there's still, I don't know if I'm there anymore. I used to be pretty in on Mobley taking like a sizable offensive leap. I don't know if I'm like really in on that much anymore. But if he does continue to get better offensively, combined with obviously Defensive Player of the Year level defense, which he did just win. I mean, what's the ceiling for him? What's a realistic ceiling for him this year? What's a realistic ceiling? He was second team All-NBA last year? Is that where he finished? Was it second or third? Yeah, second team. I mean, could he be a top 10 player again at the end of the year? If the answer to that question is yes, then they'll have two guys right in the top 10 or right around the top 10 in Mobley and Donovan Mitchell. Mobley should be a candidate for first team All-NBA. I don't know. If the like top 5 guys are healthy, that's a lot. I say the offensive leap stuff. His numbers. 18.5 points, 37% from 3. First team All-NBA would have to come with injuries. Knock on wood, to other guys. But second team again? Could he get second team again? I don't see why not. What do you think about their depth? Is Tyrese Proctor someone who might play a little bit more than we think? Their depth leaves some to be desired, but I don't think it's like dreadful. They got Killian Hayes on this roster. The thing for them is it's typically very healthy. I really worry about depth when it's teams that are not healthy. Like I look at the Raptors, right? I like their starting 5 quite a bit. Their depth concerns me, but they got a bunch of guys who are hurt a bunch. You know? So that worries me. They need to save Garland for the postseason. Well, Darius Garland, I don't know if Darius Garland's going to be ready to start the year. He's been out with that toe injury. I'm not sure if he'll be back in time a week from now. I saw that he was doing on-court stuff, so maybe. Brian Callahan is fired by the Titans. Womp, womp, womp. Womp, womp, womp. All right, so I have the Cavs finishing first. I just think they're a regular season wagon. Need I say more? I can't believe they let Variable go. It makes no sense. Absolutely makes no sense. Yeah, Max Strus had a Jones fracture, right? So he'll be out to start the season. We'll have to monitor that. All right, so for the conference finals, I'm not doing a full playoff predictions, but I do think our conference finals, I think the Cavs finally get to the conference finals, and I think they'll go up against the Knicks. Wait a second. Is that even possible? If I have them 1-3, would that be a second round matchup? No. We're good. It is possible that this is the conference finals. Okay. So I do think the Cavs finally make it to the conference finals. And I do think the Knicks will win a bunch of regular season games, but I think they are built to be a playoff team. We've already seen this. You know, they've done well in the postseason the last couple of years. I just get another year of continuity with this group. Obviously, continuity within the roster, new head coach. They're going to play different. They're going to rely on their depth a little bit more. But, you know, give me another year of Brunson and Cat working together. Give me another year of, I know they played at Villanova, but give me another year in the NBA of Brunson and Mikal and figuring out how can we get him a little bit more involved over the course of a game. Hawks could. I mean, if the Hawks are as good as I think they could be, yeah, they could beat the Cavs. It's 100% possible. I do think the Knicks come out of the Eastern Conference this year and go to the finals. That would be my prediction right now. They've got the guy who you would probably pick if in the Eastern Conference, the one guy, if you had to win one game, you're probably taking Giannis, obviously. But outside of that, Brunson is the guy you would pick. Shows up in the playoffs every year, tough shots, fourth quarter, who's going to have the ball in his hands every single time. But also, just the Brunson Cat two-man game, especially if they iron some of that shit out, it's fucking nightmarish. I just don't know if there's anyone who has an answer to that in the East. Right? I don't know if there's anybody who has an answer to that in the East. So I think they come out of the Eastern Conference and the Knicks in the finals. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how sick that would be? But I think the East is pretty open. You can make an argument. I just think Cavs and Knicks, to me, are far and away the best looking teams and the teams I would bet on in the playoffs the most. But, if the Magic if Paolo and Franz take another step forward and Bane opens up the floor and it's just this avalanche from them and they're still one of the best defenses in the league and all of a sudden they're putting together good offensive stuff, that's a nightmare team in the playoffs as well. They're just young and a little inexperienced, although they've been in the playoffs twice now, so this will be their third time in the playoffs. We haven't seen them make a substantial run, right? They've yet to win a series. So usually you got to go through your battle scars a little bit there, but they're a team that's nightmarish. I mean, Atlanta, we've seen them make the conference finals in the Trae Young era, at least. If KP's healthy and playing, tall task, I know, no pun intended. If KP's healthy and playing in the playoffs and it doesn't have some strange illness that nobody understands, and Jalen Johnson is who I think he is, that team's pretty fucking difficult in the playoffs too. Pistons almost beat the Knicks in the first round last year too. Yeah, I mean, Detroit, if Cade continues to improve, he immediately vaults up there as a guy who's well, you got Cade in the playoffs. Cade, that's who Cade can be. I want to make myself very clear when I say Cade's a superstar. One of those guys where it's in a playoff series, you're fuck, we got to play Cade. That guy can almost beat you single-handedly. So it's pretty open. I do think the Knicks would be my pick. Who is? Let me look at the odds. Let's see. NBA odds. Who is the favorite to come out of the conference? I know the Cavs have the highest win total, I believe. The highest win total. Cavs are plus 210 to win the East. Knicks plus 380. Magic plus 600, Hawks plus 850. So we had these are our top four. Interesting. Then the Celtics are plus 1100. What? What? Pistons, Sixers. Sixers are way ahead of the Bucks. Reminder that the Olympics camp, Team USA used Cade as a scout for scheming against Luka. Yeah, I mean, he's got that size. Luka's a little bit bigger, right? Thunder are plus 130 to come out the West. Wow. So I haven't looked at this in a while. Where's the NBA Finals? Thunder are plus 210. Cavs, really interesting. Cavs have higher odds than the Nuggets. I'm a little bit surprised by that. Well, I guess it's probably factoring in the Nuggets have to play in the West. No, I don't know the last time when I was in Vegas, I placed a few sports bets just for fun, but I don't know the last time I have bet through a bookie. It's been probably a year, maybe even more than that. You have to get to the finals to win the finals. Yeah, that's true. I guess it's the path for the Cavs or the Knicks is a lot easier. The Clippers have the 5th best title odds? Huh. That is that's quite interesting. That is quite interesting. Wait, what does the West look like? Lakers have the third best odds. Oh, man. It's our year, baby. I just bet $2,000. $2,000 on the Lake Show making the finals, baby. It's our year, baby. It's our year. Lake Show, baby. I don't know. Lakers over the Timberwolves. Lakers over the Rockets even. Lakers over the Clippers. No. And so I guess my thing always with these odds is it's like, oh, they do have it. This used to be the hack. This used to be the hack where it's like, if you think that the Lakers are actually going to win the Western Conference Finals, you would bet Luka to win Western Conference Finals MVP. Because it would always be better odds. And it's like, if they win the conference finals, he's winning conference finals MVP. But they've sort of patched that money glitch. But see, like the Nuggets are plus 470. So if you think the Nuggets are winning the conference finals, that's what I believe. Jokic's Western Conference Finals MVP odds are plus 490. There's no world that exists in which the Nuggets make the NBA Finals and Jokic does not win Conference Finals MVP. No world that exists. Right? So just let you guys know that. Same with Timberwolves. Plus 1,000 Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards is plus 1,200. He's winning Conference Finals MVP. Kawhi's a little bit. Kawhi and KD are both like, Kawhi and KD are both like, maybe. Like, okay. Spurs. Wemby's plus 3,500. Spurs are plus 3,500. Okay. Never mind. I mean, looking at, like, dude, if you bet John Collins to win. Bro, why is this even on here? If you bet, okay, how does John Collins have better odds of winning Conference Finals MVP than Jaren Jackson Jr.? What could even be the argument? What could even be the world where John Collins is winning Conference Finals MVP? I could at least see a world where, like, the Grizzlies. I mean, if the Grizzlies were to win the Conference Finals, that'd be crazy. Yeah, Jaren Jackson Jr.'s got a great chance of winning the Conference Finals MVP. What the fuck is, like, John Collins? John Collins has the same odds as Zubats. What are we even talking about? Cooper Flagg's here. Hell yeah, I was looking for him. That's who I was looking for. But John Collins isn't even like, let's see at the East. The East is interesting to me. Yeah, okay. Donovan Mitchell. So the East one's kind of hard because it's like, yeah, I could definitely see a world where if the Cavs did make the finals, there's like 3 guys that could win it. The Knicks, like, it would almost certainly be Brunson, but could it be Cat? Yeah. The Magic could be Paolo or Franz. The Hawks could be Trey or Jalen Johnson. Yo, if you're really in on the Hawks and you think they could win the conference, if you're like really, really in on them, Jalen Johnson plus 5,500 to win Conference Finals MVP. Just throwing that out there. Tossing that into the fire to see if it burns. They don't have Tatum on here. No Tatum. I was just looking for that. Because if you think the Celtics can do it, it'd be because of that, right? How much would I get if I put 10 on that? On what? On Jalen Johnson? If you put $10 on Jalen Johnson winning Eastern Conference Finals MVP and he did, you'd win $550. So, not half bad. Hey, smart money's on Tobias Harris. Smart Money son Toby. What is e-basketball? Okay. LeBron James has scored 10 plus points in all 25-26 regular season games. Ooh. What game was it last year where he was getting dangerously close? I actually could see this ending this year. Especially with the sciatica. All it takes is a game where he comes out. Bronny James season specials. Oh my God, this is insane. What? Wemby season specials. Let's look at this. Wemby to record a quadruple double in any game, plus 1,600. It could very easily happen. Honestly. When was the last time it happened? In the late 90s, right? I think it could happen this year. Wemby to record a 5x5 is plus 290. I feel like it's almost a certainty he's going to get one of those. To record a 6x5, points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, and 3-point made. Victor Wembanyama to record 5+ triple doubles. Oh. How many did he have last year? Yeah, I think that's probably going to happen. I'd say the 5x5 is almost a guarantee. Okay, he only had 1 triple double last year. Did have 2 his rookie year. Plus 50 plus points in a game. That's only plus 105. That feels high. I don't know. He scored 50 points once last year. He scored 50 points once in his career. Let's look at the Coop ones. Cooper Flag to record a triple-double in any game is minus 135. 40 plus points in a game is plus 360. 50, there's no way. Dude, what are they? Man, they're setting him up. There's 30 plus points in his first game. No way. No way. It's a little crazy. The Thunder are 8.5-point favorites on opening night. The Warriors are 1.5-point road favorites right now. Interesting. Shea is still MVP favorite. Plus 160. Wasn't Jokic the favorite when we looked at this recently? Or has it always been Shea? I don't know if they'll give it to Shea again. I mean, we're gonna do awards on Friday, so let me not go too crazy here. Let's not go too crazy. Are the Mavs favorites on their home opener against the Spurs? Let's see. 3-point favorites. All right. Yes, sir. 4.5-point. Oh, that's Christmas Day. I think it's crazy they have Christmas Day lines already. It's fucking crazy. Let's see what are the Mavs tonight? 3.5-point favorites against the Jazz. Oh. Whew. Whoa, hey. Guangzhou Loon Lions are only 37.5-point underdogs versus Minnesota. I might get in on that. I don't know, man. I could definitely see Guangzhou hanging around. Have we talked about the recent Anthony Davis discussions on Mavs Twitter? No, not really. What's there to talk about? Do you see Nick's take on how hard it is to repeat being the best defense in the NBA so he doesn't think OKC will do it again this year? Yeah, the only thing I would say against that is they were so much better than everyone else last year. But yeah, if the Thunder were an older team, I'd be like, yeah, they know they can do it, so like whatever. But they're so young. I just feel like they're so young that I feel as though they'll want to continue to be that good in the regular season. Like, I don't know if that hunger will go anywhere. I feel Twitter is mostly just bots now, that engagement bait. Yeah, there is a lot of that. I mean, the thing too is like, I stopped live tweeting games a while ago. I stopped going on. Stopped going on Twitter during games because it's just so insane. And I would, and also when you're live tweeting, like you're liable to say the craziest shit. And so it's easy to just take that out of context or twist that into something else. So yeah, I mean, it's why I don't really go on there much anymore. It's also like I don't think it's unique to Mavs fandom or anything like that, but it is very negative. Very, very negative. And it's been this way for a very long time. It's been this way for a very, very long time. It was this way when the team was good. So yeah. Knicks Twitter is the worst. See, like I'm not deep in the trenches on any other fan base, so I can't tell you. But yeah, I mean, it's. I feel like online on Twitter, especially, it's going to be probably overwhelmingly negative, only because it's a place to vent. If you're live tweeting games and shit, and then live tweets get like taken out of their little live tweet bubble, and then it becomes a discussion point. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Lakers are pretty bad. But Lakers just have so many. Obviously, the Lakers fandom is ginormous, so you have that. But also, you have like LeBron fans who are in there as well, mixed with like there is a strange sort of dynamic in Lakers fandom where it's like you have Lakers fans who are diehard Kobe guys, and because of that, they're kind of anti-LeBron guys. That maybe aren't, they're not rooting for their team to lose and like LeBron to do bad necessarily, but they're very quick to pile on if something does happen. I've noticed that. And now, of course, you have Lucas stands thrown into the mix, who are, in my experience, the craziest ones, right? The most insane ones, in my experience. But it's also because I've, interacted with them the most. And I'm not talking about, I know there's some Lucas stands in here that hang around. For the most part, it's cool. 95% of them are cool. It's just that the 5% are insane. My East prediction, Bane is the most impactful addition. The Magic secure the 1 seed. I could see the Rui Hachimura stands. Didn't even realize that was a thing. I could see the Magic being in the 1 seed in the East. That's not that crazy for me to think about. Kobe versus LeBron Lakers stands are peak cinema. They really are. All right, if you're listening to this on Spotify, 1, that means I remember to upload it, and 2, leave a 5-star review. I love you. Lakers is similar to Arsenal and Man United in football. Like, the fan base is so huge, and that leads to very toxic, rage bait, emotional fans online. Yeah, that's part of it. I got to say, it's really kind of strange. It's like, it just goes to show how fucking shit this team is and how little people care anymore. But, like, the Cowboys, they're, like, the biggest fan base in the world, really. But I don't really ever see too much toxicity. Maybe I'm not too deep in the weeds, but I don't see too much toxicity because I feel like everyone's just like, yeah, fuck this team. Shitty ass team. Fuck them. Like, that's what it feels like. Like, this team sucks. Everyone's like, yep. It could get a little bit nasty, I think, when like Dak has a bad game or something. Oh, Westbrook stands, yeah. I saw a guy predict the Cowboys win 7 games and they went nuts. They said the floor is 12 wins. This year? Nah, this year I don't think that was... I think everyone kind of expected them to be bad this year. For as big as... But I think it's a little bit different. NFL to NBA. You don't have as many player stands in the NFL. Like in the NFL, everybody's, you'll have disagreements within a fan base, but everyone has like the same goals in mind. NBA, you have like player stands who are like, no, I want my guy. Like I honestly, I don't even give a fuck if we win. I want it to be because of my guy. And if it's not because of my guy, I hope we lose. Like I don't give a shit. Brady Mahomes fans. God, we haven't uploaded slightly early since June 27th on Spotify. Time to hop back in. And by the way, am I approved on players directories? I'm still submitted. I'm still under fucking... How am I not listed? Your podcast has been submitted to Apple Podcasts. It can take up to a week. Dog, it's been a year. It's been a fucking year. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean a week? I've yet to be on Apple, Spotify, Apple. Justin Fields stands before the season when they wanted to shit on Caleb. The concept of a Justin Fields stand is insane to me. Those exist. What could like your stand-up even be? Like, nah, man, he's only kind of shit. Like, was that it? No, man. Like, yeah, he's pretty shitty, but like he's only kind of shitty. Can you admit Tyson Chandler is better than AD? No. I love Tyson Chandler, though. Always has a special place in my heart. As a lifelong Jags fan, I'd rather die than root for Justin Fields, honestly. What is the Justin Fields Jags thing? I didn't know there was a beef there. Jane Hardy's played more games with the Mavs than Tyson Chandler did. Yeah, that's not surprising. Tyson Chandler was only here for 2 years. Very impactful 2 years. Saw that we were suspending Kawhi Leonard for... hey, guys, Adam Silver's in the chat. Saw that we were suspending Kawhi Leonard for 3 months and trading him to Dallas Mavericks to give balance to the league. All right, that's cool. Good punishment, Silver. W punishment. I'd root for the pathetic and awful Jaguars and wouldn't even root for Justin Fields. That's why. Is there a Justin Fields Jaguars beef? I don't understand. Are you just saying Justin Fields is that bad that you don't even want him on the pathetic Jaguars? But Trevor Lawrence is clearly better than Justin Fields. The black kid from Stranger Things is 24 now. Wasn't he like 10 when the show premiered? When did that show come out? You got to be close to 10 years, right? I remember I was visiting my dad in Arkansas when season 1 came out, and I watched it. Or maybe that wasn't even season 1. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember if I watched that show right when it came out. 2016? Are you shitting me? That show came out in 2016. Season 1 came out in 2016. And isn't the show... Hasn't the show only spanned like 2 years? Am I... How much time has passed on the show itself? A couple years? Are they going to do a time jump? How are they going to handle this? They did a time jump, didn't they? Didn't they do like a 5-year time jump, I thought? Then they did a time jump because people were like in prison and shit. Like I remember, I have to do like a YouTube recap. I'm not going to rewatch the whole show, but I have to do like a YouTube recap before I watch the new season that comes out. 2 years and 7 months from season 1 to 5. Oh. And I saw that every episode of the new season will span from 90 minutes to 120. I wonder what 80s song they're gonna have here that's gonna blow up, because it was running up that hill by Kate Bush, and Kate Bush had a really nice renaissance. So I wonder who it's gonna be. Just watched Weapons yesterday. Yeah, it was pretty good. Glad they're doing a prequel to it. Yeah, Weapons was one of my more unpopular opinions, I think, on movies. I'm excited to see oh my God. What's the PTA movie? Fuck. What was your opinion on Weapons? I just thought it was all right. I gave it like a 3. One battle after another. Yeah, one battle after another. I'm excited to see that tomorrow. I thought Weapons was fine. No spoiler. Okay, quick little spoiler on Weapons. I was very disappointed it was a witch movie. Very disappointed. It was fine for a witch movie, and like it was by the end, it was pretty funny. Like some of the stuff at the end was pretty funny, but I just thought it was going to be like a more creative. The way the movie was marketed, and like, oh my, it's like mind numbing. What, like that's how this shit was marketed. I was like, oh my God, it's gonna be like some insane like metaphor, like where the evil, like it's like, how are they going to sort of? Everyone assumed that it was a mass shooting, gun violence metaphor, and it was kind of. I mean, they literally had a fucking giant AR hovering above the house. Yeah, it was just a little bit like, Slightly, did you like the Joker movie, or are you going to watch Joker 2? I did not watch Joker 2. I thought Joker 1 was fine. I mean, I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was going to be a witch movie. So when it was, I was like, oh, all right. It's fine. That's cool. I've seen better witch movies. It was good though. It was a fun like movie theater experience. Baker Mayfield, can you talk about him? Yeah, he's a dog. I kind of hope he wins MVP, because that'd be insane. I wonder, is there odds on that shit? Awards. How is Baker not even? Oh, there he is, plus 470. He's third right now. I haven't seen him, and I was wanting to see him, but I've heard so much horrible things about it that I will not be seeing it. Pattinson, best Batman. Are we going to talk about how Batfleck was pretty good? Batfleck was pretty good. I thought it was a good Batman. Yeah, Bale. I think Pattinson is the most interesting take on Batman. Like, I like that take on it. The grittier sort of, you're at the early stages and he's just trying to figure out who he is. Emo boy. I think that's probably the most interesting take on it yet. I like that Batfleck was just an established Batman. Bale's really good though. Bale kind of nails the Bruce Wayne part. Some of the best, I think. All right. We'll be live again tonight to watch some preseason basketball. I'm kind of hoping, and here's what I'm hoping. I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm hoping they play everyone tonight, and this is it. And I hope they don't play anybody on Wednesday night, because that game starts at 9:30. Preseason game on Wednesday night that starts at 9:30. And if they don't play anybody during it, I will not be watching it. So that's kind of what I'm hoping. I don't give a shit if it's against the Lakers. I don't care if it's against the Lakers. I will not be watching. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. All of the OGs, you guys love you. You guys know I love you very much. Could have spent your Monday morning anywhere in the world. You decided to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys will not regret it. Donations, members, you guys never have to do that, but it helps you out tremendously. Makes me feel so good. I'll talk to you all later tonight. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I love you all. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.